Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in again. Today we're going to get started on a brand new series here that's going to compare Google Home and the Amazon Echo series. So we're going to compare those two voice assistants directly, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to compare those devices directly. Now, today's specific video is about setting alarms, and we're going to compare those and help you make a decision on which ecosystem to buy into. So let's get started. Alright, well, we're going to get started with a little breakdown of what you can and can't do with your Amazon Alexa enabled Echo devices here. Obviously, when we're talking about setting and managing alarms, you can set an alarm for any time of the day. You can also set a repeating alarm, and you can break that down by which days of the week you'd like, or every second week. You can also, of course, snooze or stop the alarm when it triggers on there, and snoozing will give you 9 minutes on the Echo devices. Now, you can also manage your alarms pretty well in the Alexa application itself. So moving on to our Google Home. Now, the Google Home has kind of a separate section here between general alarms and media alarms. In general, you can do all the same things you could do with your Echo devices. You can set an alarm, but you can also set an alarm with a name, so then you can cancel it by name as well. Of course, you can set recurring alarms, and in both systems you're going to be able to ask about specific alarms or ask about what alarms are set in general. You can ask about all of them. Then you can cancel alarms, or you can cancel all alarms in both systems. And of course, you're able to stop and snooze. Now on the Google Home, you get 10 minutes for a snooze. So obviously right off the bat, I like that a lot better since I'm getting 1 extra minute for snooze. Now down below here you can see we do have the media alarm side. Now I will tell you, Alexa or the Echo series also has media alarms in the US, so both of these systems today can play media, radio, music alarms in the US. What I'll also tell you is that you can bypass on the Google Home side. You can trick it by simply just changing your device to English US for a language, and instantly your media alarms will work on that side. That's not the case with your Echo. Now, moving on to our evaluation here today, you're going to see just a breakdown of what each of these devices can do, and here are the 7 categories we're going to roll through. So setting alarms by voice, by the app. Can you choose various sounds on the alarm? Do you have touch and voice control? Because of course we're going to have voice control. Can you set recurring alarms, which we've already seen we can, but also can you get that existing alarm information? Is it complete? And then do you have the music, media, and radio alarm? So let's get going here with a demo. We're going to start out with setting alarms by voice. Alexa, set an alarm for 9:35 p.m.
Alarm set for 9:35 p.m.
Hey Google, set an alarm for 9:36 p.m.
Alright, your alarm's set for 9:36 p.m.
Hey Google, set an alarm for 10 p.m.
Done, your alarm's set for 10 p.m.
Alexa, set an alarm for 10 p.m.
Second alarm set for 10 p.m.
Alexa, cancel all my alarms.
Canceling all of your alarms.
Hey Google, cancel all my alarms.
Alright, I canceled both of them.
So as you can see, both devices, obviously you can set it with voice. There was really no differential in how that was done, and there's really, I can't tell any difference between the two of them in terms of accepting alarms. Now moving on to our next part of the evaluation here, we're going to see if we can set alarms by the application. So I'm going to start with the Google Home application, and we're going to head right into the devices section. And as we get into the devices section, I'm going to go into my basement home, and I'm going to scroll down to alarms and timers. Now right away what you'll see is the only thing you're able to manage here is the alarm and timer volume. There's an additional settings there, and you can tap on it 100 times if you'd like, but nothing occurs. Now, even if you had alarms here and they just show up with a time and a date, all you can do is click an X on them to cancel them. There's no capability of setting an alarm here. Now, on the Alexa side or the Echo side, what I'll tell you is you're capable of managing the alarms a little bit more. You're given the capability of turning on an old alarm, and your Echoes always keep previous alarms that you've set. They don't ever delete them. Even when you ask Alexa to cancel your alarms, they're just turned off here in the application. So, over a year or so, if you're setting a lot of alarms with Alexa, they're going to show up in this application, and you're going to have probably 100 different alarms here. When we evaluate them both here, neither allow you to set alarms with the app. What I'll say is I like the way Google Home manages canceling of alarms. They delete from the app. You're not left with a list over time. But I really like the Amazon Echo's capability of managing the settings on the alarms that you have already. So, it's kind of a wash here for me. Neither can really do the functionality we were looking for, but ultimately both have their pros and cons for managing alarms through the app. Now we're going to move on and we're going to talk about the various sounds that you can use. And I think you've already seen part of this, but let's go right into the demo here. I'm not even going to show you the Google Home application. We're going to go right into the Amazon Alexa application here. The reason I'm not even going to show you Google Home, the reason I'm not going to show you the Google Home application is simply because there are no other sounds you can pick. Your only option is to use a media or a radio alarm. So keep that in mind here as you go. Now within the Alexa application here, I'm just going to tap at the top, Manage Alarm Volume and Default Sound. We're going to head in there, and you can see you can make adjustments to the alarm, the alarm volume. You can also make the volume gradually increase, and then you can go ahead and you can choose different sounds here. So obviously here, Google Home is not capable of setting various sounds for the alarm. We're not talking about the media here. We're not talking about radio. We're just talking about some different sounds that you can use. Google Home clearly does not do this. Whereas the Amazon Echo series does allow you to pick various sounds for the alarm. It gives you much more management of the different sounds. You can even set that by alarm. So now moving on, we're going to go on to just showing you that you can do touch and voice control. Obviously both of these have a snooze function. They obviously both have a stop function through your voice. So I'm just going to show you how you do the touch control for your alarms. Now it's pretty clear both devices, when we go and evaluate them, both of them can do touch and voice control of your alarms, and you can stop and you can snooze both of those alarm systems in both devices. So that's a pretty clear one. So let's move on to recurring alarms. I'm going to show you how you set recurring alarms with both devices. Alexa, set an alarm for every Monday at 10 p.m.
Third alarm set for every Monday at 10 p.m.
Hey Google, set an alarm every Monday at 10:30 p.m.
Got it. Your alarm's set every Monday at 10:30 p.m.
So again, that's a pretty simple evaluation. We can see that both of those devices are capable of setting recurring alarms, and I'll tell you, you can delete recurring alarms with both of them as well. It's very simple. So now we're going to move on to gathering alarm information. I'm just going to ask my devices, hey, what alarms do I have here? And we're going to see what each of those produce. Hey Google, what alarms do I have?
You have an alarm at 10 p.m. and an alarm every Monday at 10:30 p.m.
Alexa, what alarms do I have?
You have 3 alarms. 9:37 p.m., 10 p.m., and every Monday at 10 p.m.
So I think both of these devices give you pretty good alarm information about your existing alarms. So let's go through our final effort. What I'll say here is I'm going to show you one of them working with music, media, and radio alarms. That's because, again, with the Google Home, I can just trick it and I can change my language to English United States from English Canada, and my music alarms instantly work. Whereas you're going to see the Echo is not capable of doing that. You can't trick it here in Canada. Hey Google, set a radio alarm for 9:38 p.m.
Sure, and what radio would you like me to play?
Sonic 102.9.
There, I'll play Sonic 102.9 radio for 9:38 p.m.
Alexa, set a music alarm for 9:40 p.m.
Music alarms are not currently supported in your region.
So there you have it. Now, obviously, both of them can do the music, media, and radio alarms. If you're in a country that isn't the US, this Amazon Echo side would actually turn to an X for you. You could find the workaround with Google Home if you were willing to accept English United States, but I'm sure over the next 3 to 6 months here, we're going to see both of these systems allow music and radio alarms in all of the countries of the world. There's really no good reason for it not to be available. And the reason I say that is they're only using your preferred music service. And so if you've connected to Spotify, they're just using that service to play the music. Or if you're using TuneIn, they're only using that service to turn on the radio. So really, if that service is available in your country, they can go ahead and use it. There's no copyright reason or trademark laws or anything like that that's holding Google and Amazon back from enabling this. It's simply just they haven't done that yet in those countries. So overall now, when we talk about it, the winner is the Amazon Echo in terms of setting and managing alarms. And I would say, you know, the management of alarms in the app was a little bit better on the Amazon Echo because you could do a lot more. And then obviously they have the various or the number of sounds for an alarm. You're not just stuck with one where you are with the Google Home. So the Amazon Echo has won in terms of functionality, but we should talk about some of those little nuances that might frustrate you as an owner. What I'll say is I struggled a little bit with the echoes and those sounds. So when I chose a different sound for an alarm, it didn't seem to change consistently. I sometimes ended up with the default sound. I sometimes ended up with a sound I didn't pick at all. There was some variability to that. Now on the Google Home side, you are allowed, no matter where you are in the world, to do music or radio if you just simply change your language setting. And I do think that's important. Google has kind of opened that up throughout their device to just allow you to use functions that are available only in the United States if you're just willing to make that adjustment. The little nuance that we talked about earlier, where you ask Alexa to cancel an alarm, she does actually just cancel it and does not delete it from your application. Whereas the Google Home deletes it and never really just cancels it and leaves it there for you to manage. There's really no management of alarms in Google Home, so there'd be no point there. So, you know, that's a differential here that you'll want to think about. It's whether or not you want to be managing hundreds of alarms or you'd rather just have them get deleted over time. Now, what I'll say for both of these devices is you can't tell one Google Home or one Echo to create an alarm on another device you have in the home. They still can't manage alarms on other devices. Neither of them can do that today. I don't know if we'll see that functionality anytime soon. You also can't broadcast an alarm to multiple, so you can't use a speaker group on either system. So overall, I think it's a pretty close battle here. There's some nuances that you've got to get used to with either system, but in the end, the Amazon Echo does come out ahead here with setting and managing alarms.